Arena Daniels, President, Epsilon Theta Omega Chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Today, we are observing our Mental Health Summit. 1 in 6 persons are affected by mental health in the United States today. It is important that we focus on the well-being of mental health just as much as we focus on physical health, because in everything that we do, our mental health is impacted as well as our physical health. Quite often, when you have a headache, you'll take something for it. When you break your foot, you'll go to see a doctor about it. But when something is bothering you and affecting your mental state, we will just sit and try to handle it ourselves. Well, those type things will eat away at us and become the very things that could lead to our demise. There are healthcare professionals who are trained to assist us in getting back to normalcy. And with all that is existing in our lives today, we are able to find professionals who can help us get to a place where life is good again if we seek out the assistance. Today, we are sharing information about how you can access assistance to get support for mental health issues. We are so happy that we have professionals on hand right here in our community to assist you with any mental health concerns that you may have. I am Arena Young Daniels, President of Epsilon Theta Omega Chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority here in Port Arthur, Texas. Thank you.
I've never done any of the things or had to actually experience that type of trauma that I did as a child within my adulthood through the choices that I made. Not this is such a huge is, and then also know how to actually deal with it in the moments. I am a huge advocate for people because I work in the mental health field, right? I'm a huge advocate if I overhear someone treating themselves. And the truth is, the reason why I fought as a child was because I was triggered from things that were happening at home, right? So because I was unsafe in what's supposed to be my safety, I was unsafe by being harmed, whether it was physical or sexual or emotional abuse. If someone did something to me in the world that was the same age as me, I felt like I could actually fight you off. I couldn't fight off on the now how I actually handled it because I recognized the trigger is let's have a conversation about this. And even stated, hey, that really triggered me for this moment. And they'll be like, why?
A lot of patients, I talk to them about journaling, that's huge. Paying attention to how your body's responding. When you're in this situation that triggers you to rear their ugly heads, because we're good at suppressing stuff. Oh, that didn't bother me. Oh, I just deal with it. I was sexually assaulted as a child. I had alcoholic parents. All these different things. You just go on because unfortunately at that time that's your normal. Maybe that's why I'm having hypertension and I can't control it. But now I got on medication, I'm seeing my therapist and my primary care provider, and I'm doing work. Because you suppressed things from 30 years ago that in your mind really didn't bother you, and it really did.
Yeah. Right. So we have external triggers, we have internal triggers. You have, if you were sexually assaulted, and you go back to the place that it happened, it could be in your family home. That's a trigger. So when we're talking about these triggers, they are everywhere. If you're talking sometimes a smell, when we are working with people that have been alcoholics, we say don't go back to the crime scene. We'll also work on that. All right, we're going to give the mic to Ms. Ford for question 3.
So it's important for us to actually uncover what those traumas were, because so many times, especially within our culture, it's about be quiet, don't tell nobody that story. Let's not talk about it. That actually poured it to me as a little girl. Our Miss Baptiste, who's with the AKAs, she's not here today, who actually poured into me as a little girl to remind me of my work.
That's why we have all the issues that we have now. We're trying to go back and fix things that started when these kids were 5, 6 newborns. Trying to reverse all that damage, and it takes so much work. And people are getting exhausted, and unfortunately the kids don't want to do the work, or they don't see anything wrong with it. They think we're the problem because this is their whole family like this. Miss Ford, what are you talking about? My auntie, da, 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 da.
Yep.
So we just really have to get out and make a difference. And like Agnes said, just challenge yourself, be intentional. One thing this week for yourself or others, both, that can make a difference in your mental health and someone else's.
Being in medication management, I'm usually the last line of defense. You've been to your doctor, you've been to your nurse practitioner, you've been to your cardiologist, you still have chest pain. She's on every blood pressure medicine under the sun. I give her anxiety medicine. She goes back to her nurse practitioner. Now she's 120/80. Chest is not hurting anymore, stomach is not hurting anymore. So a lot of your signs and symptoms, it's not just from a long day, it's not just a regular headache. It's not just, I went to the gym and now my shoulder's hurting. Mind you, you hadn't been to the gym in 3 months, but the shoulder still hurts related to anxiety. So, yeah, change your diet, but once you change your diet and there's still that one thing that you do that makes your stomach hurt or makes you have some type of reflux, it could be related to anxiety or some other stuff.
To talk about was, if you find yourself not being able to sit still, like you always have to do something. You always, like you're taking on additional projects. You're always like involved in multiple different things at one time. And you find yourself, you just can't sit still. Even when you're at home, you're trying to keep yourself busy. That is a sign of depression as well.